In the presence of hundreds of courtiers and foreign envoys, the Countess of Angoulême, kneeling before the French king, spoke with an authoritative and furious voice. A true granddaughter of Louis VI, she accused the King of England of abducting her daughter and violating her. Alice de Courtenay, wife of Amory of Angoulême, demanded that her French liege protect her only daughter and return her to her father's house. And the king promised his support. The one who sparked these intense passions in the first days of September 1200 was born 12 years earlier in the French lands of the Count of Angoulême. Amory Taillefer, the father of Isabella, was a man with a rich biography. He rebelled against Richard the Lionheart, participated in the Crusades, and finally captured the heart of the royal granddaughter, the resplendent Alice de Courtenay. The girl, at that time married, nevertheless managed to obtain a divorce to become the Countess of Angoulême. The young couple enjoyed love and happiness. It was a union of two people deeply in love. They doted on their only daughter, and indeed, there was every reason to. Isabella fully met the expectations placed on a noblewoman of the late 12th century. She was diligent, spoke several languages, played music, danced beautifully. Her beauty was considered undeniable, as it combined southern French features with classic Slavic ones. One of Isabella's great-great-grandmothers was Queen Anna of Rus, and there was no court poet who would not want to sing her divine image. A husband was sought for her as soon as she turned 10. Such matters were usually resolved early in those times. The choice fell on the heir to the Lusignan family, and not entirely by chance. Hugh de Lusignan was a close relative of a comrade-in-arms of the Count of Angoulême, with whom they had gone on a crusade in their youth. So, two families bound by friendly ties simply decided to become related. Said and done. Isabella and Hugh were betrothed. But fate intervened in this union in the person of the King of England, John. He often visited French lands, as he had extensive holdings there. And of course, rumors of the beauty from Angoulême reached him as well. Interest arose. John decided to meet Isabella to form his own opinion. There are several versions of how the King of England saw the girl. According to one, he waited for a long time on the road that Isabella usually rode on horseback. According to another, he appeared at a church service that the Counts of Angoulême also attended. There is also a simpler story. The king allegedly passed by the castle of Alice and Amory and stopped there to rest. However it happened, the meeting took place in the spring of 1200. John of England was 21 years older than Isabella and had already been married once. By the time of his meeting with the young Countess of Angoulême, he had already become a father to several bastards, but he could not pass on the throne to anyone. He needed legitimate heirs. And Isabella impressed him so much that the plan was formed immediately to marry her. Immediately. The Lusignan family, whose fiancé was taken away from under their nose, claimed that Isabella was kidnapped from her ancestral castle at night. The Counts of Angoulême initially also supported this version. The girl's mother even turned to the King of France for help. However, King John married Isabella in the city of Bordeaux, and the incident was, in principle, resolved. Even if the infatuated monarch had indeed kidnapped and dishonored the young maiden, he had made amends by marrying her. But the Lusignans thought differently. The girl's family had already withdrawn their demands, but the relatives of the jilted groom continued to insist. The abductor and rapist must be brought to justice. Isabella's father died 2 years later, and Alice de Courtenay moved to England to her daughter. And the French king saw in this scandalous episode a wonderful opportunity to expand his territories. He summoned John of England to a hearing on the abduction, and of course, the English sovereign did not appear. The summons was sent twice more, and each time, of course, this demand was ignored. King of France, in an utterly unlawful manner, declared, if his English neighbor does not respond to his summons, he should be stripped of all his continental holdings. This was a genuine land grab, with vast, fertile territories belonging to the King of England in full. In her new role as queen, Isabella adapted marvelously. Her husband loved her, they had 5 children, but politically, things were not going smoothly. The English barons rebelled, the French launched an open attack, and even Prince Louis landed on the English shore to reclaim the kingdom. John might have defeated the audacious Frenchman, but he fell ill with dysentery. His widow was only 28. Isabella became not just a dowager queen, but a queen mother. Her eldest son, Henry, was hastily crowned King of England, and Prince Louis withdrew. However, Isabella was not welcome in London. Many blamed her for the loss of French lands and the Civil War. She returned to her ancestral lands in France. Her children were likely in England, under the care of the Earl of Pembroke, William Marshall. Isabella maintained contact with them, and they visited her in France. Isabella, however, was not content to sit idle. She lived like a true queen in France, but without real influence. She needed allies for her ambitious plans, and luckily, they appeared. Her former fiancé, Hugh de Lusignan, proposed again, and surprisingly, she accepted. Soon, Isabella, Queen of England, married her once betrothed. Now she had a husband, and he had an army. Together with her eldest son, King Henry III, her husband, Hugh de Lusignan, and the Count of Toulouse, Isabella planned a rebellion in southern France. Their forces were considerable, but they were no match for the twice as large army of King Louis IX. Henry III retreated to London, while Hugh de Lusignan and the Count of Toulouse surrendered to Louis. Despite having 9 children with Hugh, Isabella felt only contempt for his actions. She refused to bow to anyone. 3 years later, she attempted another rebellion, but was betrayed and had to hide in a monastery. The beauty who caused so much turmoil and cost England its French holdings died in 1246 at Fontevraud. Her son, King Henry III, buried her in the English royal tomb. Hugh outlived her by 3 years, dying in a crusade to seek forgiveness from Louis IX. Isabella's children from King John sat on thrones across Europe. Her daughter became Queen of Scotland, Richard became King of Germany, and another Isabella became Holy Roman Empress. Only the youngest, Eleanor, was content with the title of Countess of Pembroke. King Henry III ruled England until 1272,